What's up, Big Ian?
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
It's all good, man. You're not out trick-or-treating?
Oh no, I'm not. I just hanging out with some friends. So nothing much.
Are you with them right now?
Yeah, but hey, this is more important.
Gotcha. Do kids still trick-or-treat or like what do you guys do these days?
So they all trick or treating. So I just walked around with them because I'm not a big like candy person anymore. But yeah, people still every like still dressed up and stuff. So it's kind of
That's cool. What
yeah,
did you dress up as? Anything?
Batman.
Did you really?
Yeah,
You took it off for the group call?
I should have kept the costume on.
You should have, man.
But yeah, I'm going to Cincinnati. I leave for Cincinnati tomorrow night, and then I'm going back to West Virginia the following week.
What are you doing in Cincinnati?
The camp for University of Cincinnati.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. How are you feeling about that?
I feel good. Hitting offensively, I feel good. Defensively, I feel like a lot has improved ever since the first college camp I did. I
Yeah,
feel I feel a lot more not relaxed, but like rhythmic.
like in that kind of environment, or what do you mean?
Like before, like when I first did my throws, like I was like, I was like jumping out almost and
Yeah,
gaining a lot of ground.
yeah,
Now I'm not gaining as much ground, and I'm quicker with my release.
good. And that's the thing too, man. Like the more time that you spend just in those environments and like at showcases, like it just becomes like another like day on the job, like the
Hmm.
nerves go away, you know what to expect. Like you can kind of,
Just
walk around with a little bit of confidence.
that and just going and having fun.
Exactly. I mean, here's the thing, man. Like, you know, you're pretty damn sure you're gonna play college baseball, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So if you fuck up one showcase, like doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all. So
Where's everybody at? Just me and you, or
Malin's here. I think we should have a couple more, but we'll see. Just because it's Halloween, we'll see what happens. What's up, Malin?
Hey,
No Halloween costume?
um, I do have one, but I don't live in the neighborhood, so I don't have no reason to put it on
Where do you live at?
in the woods.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. Ian was Batman.
Oh, really? Yeah, I have a Spider-Man costume, but
I was asking Ian, do kids like do your friends and like kids at your school, do you guys trick or treat or what's the deal? I guess you're in the woods, so like where are you gonna go? But is that a thing at your school?
not really. I mean, we have like a trunk or treat thing where we just walk around the park and lots of other people's cars, but
Dang, that's some country shit, huh?
yeah, I was just like, nah.
Yeah. How's I know you get your wisdom teeth. How you doing?
They're actually good now. They don't hurt anymore. It's really good.
Have you made any progress on your throws?
So I haven't. I started baseball today. Like I just started doing stuff
Okay, cool.
physically. So
Yeah, just get me those videos whenever. If it's just us, we can start. I know it's Halloween, so we'll see what happens. But um, I got some cool things coming your guys' way. I'm pretty excited about it, but we'll start with my little presentation I put together. Okay. Since it's just you guys are gonna get a lot of attention here. What is Ian and Malin, what are your guys' velocity readings? Like average and best?
my max was like 75 or 74.
Okay. Ian, what's yours?
74, 75.
Okay. Um, before I even get into this breakdown, um, I want to kind of gauge where you guys are at. Like with your knowledge and what you guys, I guess, have trained, how do we increase velocity not only as an or as a baseball player, but as a catcher specifically? Do you guys have any clue? And like just fire shit out at me. I don't really care if it's wrong.
Are you talking about like how to train for it or how do we actually do it?
Both. How do we throw harder?
Long toss, throwing a football.
Okay.
Correct mechanics.
Correct mechanics.
Using the ground.
Yeah, for sure. Um, okay, let's get into it. Um, Ian, give me your definition of velocity. What is velocity?
Speed or yeah, speed or how quick something's moving.
Okay, good enough. Let's see how well you did. Okay, so I said velocity refers to the speed at which a baseball travels once it leaves our hand. Mile per hour. You got it right. Okay. Here's a fun one, Malin. Why is velocity important as a catcher?
To have a faster pop time.
Faster pop time. Okay. Anything else?
Um, Faster back picks.
Okay. All right. So to me, it goes a little bit deeper than that, right? We want to perform better at higher levels of the game, right? So as we get to varsity, as we get to college baseball, if you get to play pro baseball, the speed of the game increases, right? So the harder we can throw, the better we're going to keep up in those environments, right? Makes sense. Shut down the running game, hose more runners. Important one right here. Stand out to coaches, right? At a showcase, the guy with the hose usually gets a second look. And then second, impress your friends. That's always cool. Okay. Science of velocity. So we're gonna start to get kind of technical on like what is velocity, how do we create it, how do we train it? Okay. So I tried to keep these like somewhat understandable, but velocity is created by how fast your arm moves through your throwing motion, how much force we can apply to the baseball, and for how long we can apply that force to the baseball towards our target. So somebody said ground connection earlier. That was a really good point. Velocity is influenced by how efficiently we transfer energy from the ground through our legs, core, spine, shoulders, into the arm, into the baseball. That's our kinetic chain. Have you guys heard that term before?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so it's how efficiently we can create tension with the ground, transfer it up the chain into a baseball. Okay, key takeaways that we're going to kind of jump into in this slideshow. How fast we can move, how much force we can apply to the baseball, how long we can apply that force for are probably the three main components. And then we're going to dive into the role of the kinetic chain. Okay. A good little example to kind of put this into perspective for you guys. Imagine two cars trying to max out top speed. Okay, one's a Honda Civic, second one's a Lamborghini. Which one's going to see a greater top speed and which one's going to achieve a greater top speed with more ease and why? You guys can just throw out your answers.
Lamborghini because it was built that way.
Honda
Built that
Civic will
way.
get to there quicker.
No
All right.
shots.
I don't know. I kind of trust my little Civic.
Oh shit! I didn't mean to shit on your car, dude.
Nah, I'm messing. I'm messing. Nah, the
Um,
Lamborghini.
a Lamborghini would smoke a Civic in any. Okay, so Malin, you said because it's built that way, right? Can you dive into that a little more?
Like the aerodynamics and the engine, how much horsepower made it have, all that
Yes,
kind of stuff.
right. So that's a really good point. So like when we think about why is a Lamborghini so expensive, the components that make up a Lamborghini are way superior to a Honda Civic. Sorry, Ian. Um, but if we think about okay, how does that apply to our body, right? If we can strengthen the components of our body, we can throw harder, right? Pretty simple. Okay, getting into the kinetic chain. Actually, before I even show you that, Malin, give me your definition of the kinetic chain.
Man, you better pick up your clothes off the basketball
Dang.
um, it's like starting from the ground up.
Okay.
Something
Ian,
like
you want
that.
to take a stab?
Um, it's like a chain of like stored energy or potential energy that we have to use, maybe.
Yeah. Think about it like this, Ian. You worked with me in the Drop Your Pop Time program. The whole idea behind that program is constructing your sequence of events, right? Lower
Mm-hmm.
half, transfer, retraction, rhythm and timing, right? So just in a more broad sense, um, kinetic chain is a sequence of movements like a chain reaction. Energy flows from the force created with the ground through each part of the chain into the baseball, right? It's a sequence of our throw. Pitchers have a longer sequence, catchers have a shorter sequence. Pretty simple. You guys know that stuff. Okay. Importance. Each body part must work together in sync with proper timing, which is huge, to produce maximum transfer of energy from the ground to the baseball. It's all connected. I thought Walker Bueller would be a good example for today. Okay. So we're gonna kind of go through this, I guess, in more detail, but let's just look at it as a whole for now. So when I watch him throw, every part of the chain is maxed out, right? So he steps into it right here with his leg lift. He's creating tension, creating force, right? He's maximizing all that force up. Okay, what's his next move going to be?
To drive forward.
Close. What
Or to
comes
come down.
before you drive
Kind of
forward?
like coil on his back leg or sink a little bit,
Yeah, why?
to allow him to push off the mound more, get more momentum
Yes.
towards the plate.
Yes, I'll take you one step further. So when we're trying to throw hard, we're trying to create force with the ground, right? So by a pitcher sinking into the rubber, they're creating force into the ground that's going to push back into them to drive them forward, right? So he lifts his leg up, he sinks and drives, right? This is all force that he's now creating with the lower half, maxes out his separation. Now, all of this force that he created into the ground goes into this front leg. And then what happens?
He throws it.
Close.
Is
Okay, so I want you to picture it like this. I want you to actually like visualize where the force is being created, where it's being transferred, and where it's moving.
His
Okay.
hips fire next.
Yes. But one step deeper. So creating force right here, it's all centered in his core. He's gonna drop and drive. Now his force is going into the ground, into this back leg. He's starting his move to the plate, right? Separate, separate. Now all of this force that he created is going where?
into his front leg.
Into his front leg, right? So, and this might be something that you guys aren't super familiar with just yet, but after that force gets pushed into this front side, where does it go?
Stays there, right?
Maybe, but
Does
think about the kinetic chain.
does it go into like his arm motion, like the arm whip
Well, yes,
at all? Or no?
eventually it will. So, okay, so he pushes off the mound, he pushes all of his force into this front side, and then imagine his force is like right here, right now. It's all going to be released into this front foot. Okay, right here is like maximum on this front side. Now what we're going to see is as he's releasing this ball, as his hips are coming forward, if you can picture where that energy is, it's coming through this front side. So all of the force that he created down the mound into the front side gets transferred back up this leg, through the hips, through the torso, through the spine, into a baseball. Right? So we create energy down, forward into the front side, transfer it back up to the baseball. That is the kinetic chain. Make sense so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Same thing with a catcher. Bethancourt probably has one of the best arms in the MLB, right? Next to like JT. So the only difference between like what we do as catchers and what a pitcher does is we just have shorter, I guess, a shorter amount of time and a shorter range of motion, right? But if we watch him throw, it's pretty much the same shit, right? This one's cool because it's a pitch out. But what you can see is as he transfers, gathers onto the backside, right? Let me try to slow this down. Okay. Let's go back a little bit. Okay, so ball hits his glove, transfers energy to his backside, right? Back foot plants. We talk about that a lot. Okay. Next thing that happens, lower half separates. You see how much separation he creates. Like truly, like he's one of the best at it. Same thing, like when I see this screenshot of him separating to first base or to second base, he almost resembles a pitcher coming down the mound, right? This is him getting his energy into his front side. And then we're going to see the same thing happen. It's going to transfer up the chain into the baseball, right? That's how we create that whip, right? The more efficiently you can transfer energy, the more whippy your throw is going to be. Okay. Now we're going to get into the specifics of the chain. This is pretty self-explanatory, but power and velocity is always going to start in our legs, right? Our connection to the ground, how hard we push off the ground. Ian, you kind of learned this through your time going through the program, right? Like the more you were on your front side, the less connected you were with the ground, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This one right here is pretty important for you guys to understand. Ground reaction force. This is the concept that I was trying to tell you guys before. When these guys front side hits the ground, it's the reaction force of that force going into the ground and coming back up the chain. If you take anything away from this, it's ground reaction force. How much force you can put into the ground to work back up the chain. So the way I defined it is this is the force generated when we push into the ground. Let me move you guys. And it's reaction back up our leg through the kinetic chain and into the baseball. The harder we push off of the ground, the more energy is available to transfer through our bodies. Getting a little more specific, how do we train this component of the kinetic chain? Right. So I asked you guys, how do we train velocity? You guys said long toss. Good answer. What were some of the other things you guys said?
Throwing a football.
Throwing a football, right? It's heavy. Okay. Outside of all of that, lower body focus plyometrics like jump squats, or depth drops to absorb force, right? Train yourself to move fast, train yourself to absorb force. Resistance training like lunges or squats is going to increase your capacity to create force, right? So a lot of guys think, hey, if I want to throw harder, I got to like throw weighted balls. I got to get on this guy's velo program. But in reality, like what most of you high school guys need is more time in the weight room. You need to get stronger, you need to get more explosive, and you need to absorb force better. So very practical things. Like I said, jump squats, depth drops to move fast and absorb force, resistance training like lunges and squats, right? The barbell is your best friend. If you want to create velocity, the kitchen, so you got to eat a lot of protein, eat a lot of food, train hard. Example, this is a good one. Okay. I want you guys to actually like picture this. Imagine running on a diving board. When you get to the end of it, you jump as high as you can and then as hard as you can into the diving board. The harder you run, the harder you push into the diving board, what happens?
You'll get more bend, so it'll like launch you higher.
It'll propel you farther, right? So it's the same thing like with our lower half. The harder we can push into the ground, the harder that ground is going to propel us forward, the harder we're going to throw. How do we push harder into the ground? Train to be explosive, train to get stronger. Okay. This is a concept that gets thrown around a lot, hip and shoulder separation. What is it? Take your best stab. I don't care what you guys say.
Um,
No
Oh,
guesses? You guys have heard the term, right?
Yeah, I heard it and everything.
yeah.
But
Uh,
any clue what it means?
Is it when you're like right about to throw the ball and you're like your hips are
For-
like facing towards the bag?
Isn't it like, yeah, and then it's like the furthest point from like your front leg to your arm or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, you're on the right track, but I would honestly say like think about it in simple terms. Like it's in the phrase hip shoulder
It's when,
separation.
yeah, it's when the hip and shoulder separate.
Yeah, so it's like how far they move away from each other, right? Okay. Um, so after the lower half separates, right? So our back foot plants, we separate the lower half. Hip shoulder separation is the difference in timing between your hips rotating into your front side and your shoulders that follow, right? So let's think about this practically. When our back foot sets and our hips go, think about your swing. What typically leads your swing unless you're like a hands first guy?
Your
Hips
hips.
before hands.
Your hips before hands, right? That's a good example of hip shoulder separation. So same thing with our throw. When we plant in the ground, we push as hard as we can. The hips go first, right? It's the difference in timing between our hips going, the separation that's created, and our shoulders that follow with, right? So when these things stretch out, they create tension in our core, right? That tension then allows us to throw harder. Does that make sense? Okay. Um, why it works. So this stretch creates tension and stores energy in our torso. It is then transferred up the kinetic chain further into the arm and ultimately into the baseball. This is where that whippy feel comes from. You guys know what I mean by like the whippy feel?
It's
Yeah.
like layback or whatever it's called.
Yeah, layback. That's a good way to put it, right? So like the more tension we can create, the more stretch, the more hip shoulder separation that we create, the harder everything gets pulled back through. Okay. Um, the practical science behind it. Okay. Again, I want you guys to imagine this. I want you to think about your body like you're twisting a spring. Okay. Imagine you're holding a spring. You twist one or the bottom end of the spring in one direction. You twist the other end of the spring in another direction. What is now happening to that spring?
It's unraveling. Or
Um,
it's
close. Okay. When we twist it in one direction at the bottom and the other direction at the top, there is now a lot of tension in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So the harder we can twist this spring in both directions, the harder it's going to snap back into place, right? So it's the same thing with hip shoulder separation. If we don't create a lot of tension, we're not going to snap back that hard. If we create a lot of tension, a lot of rotation, we're going to snap into place a lot harder.
Is this where
Okay.
like pinching our scat more and everything comes into play?
Yes, that's why I teach you guys in order. Like go with the lower half, rotate with the upper half, set the scap while you're going forward with the lower half, right? That's hip shoulder separation. So that's a good observation. Did I freeze or you guys still got me? You guys got me? Did I freeze? I think I lost you guys. I got you guys back.
yeah.
I'm here. I'm back.
Okay. Okay, cool. Um, okay, so how do we train this, right? Um, pretty simple. Range of motion training, like stretching. How often do you guys stretch?
Like
Every day.
times a week.
Good. Okay. Dexterity training, like lateral bounds. You guys know what a lateral bound is?
No.
Okay.
Is it like making quick and powerful movements, like changing directions quick?
Um, in a way, yes. Um, I'm developing a off-season like training program for you guys. So this will be incorporated, so we won't get into it just yet. Um, and okay, so last, increasing strength through a full range of motion. So, um, what is a depth RDL? Do you guys know?
It's like you got the barbell or something and you almost touch the floor with it.
Yeah, so like you're like on a platform to increase your range of motion, right?
Right.
So
Mhm.
what I'm basically saying with this is Okay, if we want to train hip shoulder separation, we need to create a greater range of motion, right? Stretching, dexterity training, so understanding how our body moves through space, and increasing our strength to a full range of motion. So things like depth RDLs, reverse lunges, depth squats, shit like that. Okay. Oh, that's the same example I used. Did I skip ahead? Okay. No, we're good. Okay, so just so we are on the same page. So we're going through the kinetic chain. So lower body first, energy gets transferred up, hip shoulder separation. Next step in the sequence is our core, right? Our stability, our rotational power. Okay. A good way to think about your core is your core is going to act like a bridge that transfers energy from your lower half to your upper half. The stronger your core, the more flexible, the stronger you are through a greater range of motion, is more force that you can take over that bridge, right? Does that make sense? Is that, I guess, a rational example, like thinking about it like a bridge? So, like, if you have a weak bridge and you try to bring a semi over it, it's probably not going to work, right? But if you have a very strong bridge and you're trying to bring a semi over it, the semi is representing the force that you've created with the ground. You're going to transfer that energy much more efficiently, right? So training our core is very important. Rotational power. This is another aspect of our core, right? So a strong and flexible core is going to enable greater rotational force and a more controlled rotation. This allows us to transfer a greater amount of energy from our lower half, create more tension, just like we talked about. Okay, so how do we train this component of the kinetic chain? Max effort rotational movements like with resistance. So a good example of this is like a lateral med ball throw, or lengthening mobility work like dead hangs. Can train the core to rotate more powerfully, bear more force, and increase range of motion. So our core is very, very important. And a practical example for you guys to kind of visualize this. Okay, imagine trying to, little typo there. Imagine trying to shoot a slingshot, right? You guys have all shot a slingshot before. I know Malin has.
Yeah.
He's probably got 10 of them.
That's crazy.
Imagine trying to shoot a slingshot, but it's got like a rubber handle. What happens?
Like the whole handle's rubber.
Yeah, it just sucks.
It just gets more bent.
It's
Yeah, it doesn't-
loose.
It doesn't work,
Can't
right?
create as much tension. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, but imagine now we have a slingshot, but it's like an oak wood handle. It's hard as shit, right? Now our accuracy, our control becomes a lot better with that slingshot. So our core is like the handle of a slingshot. We'll keep moving. Okay. Arm path and arm action. Okay. Pretty simple. Your arm path from start to finish should be smooth and in sync or in time with the energy transfer to avoid strain. Something that I like about these examples that we went to earlier was I just want you guys to watch the timing of their arms. You see how everything's like perfectly synced, right? So I guess like arm action is not something I want you guys to be like actively thinking about. Arm action is always going to happen as a result of proper timing and proper mechanics, proper energy transfer. I don't necessarily believe in like forcing positions with the arm. I think you guys are athletic enough, and you guys should understand your body well enough to where your arm is going to work the way that it should, as long as you're taking care of everything that happens before. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Efficient arm path. Okay. After achieving maximal hip shoulder separation, we begin to rotate into the front side. The elbow should always lead the throw. Have you guys heard that before? I know Ian probably has. Malin, have you?
Yeah.
Like your throwing elbow?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. I've heard that.
Okay. So like just practically speaking, like as we rotate into the front side, the elbow is always the first thing to go, right? Like that is layback. When guys talk about layback, that's the elbow leading and the arm coming back like this. The reason this is important is this allows us to keep the ball close to our body as we rotate, and the closer to our body we are, the stronger we are, and the better we're going to be able to apply force to that baseball. If we're out here, less ability to apply force to the baseball. Something that's also important too is it's going to reduce stress on the shoulder and elbow, and it helps you maintain a high level of control. Okay, that we went through. Okay, how to train this component of the kinetic chain. How many of you guys have done the towel drill? You guys ever seen that drill?
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay, towel drill is great, because like you really have to force that snap, which is going to force your timing of your arm. So something you guys can work into your own training. Wrist snapping and ball release. Again, this is something that I don't necessarily want you guys to be like actively thinking about, but I think it's important we go through it. Importance of wrist snapping. Wrist snapping is the final movement before the release that gives the ball that extra zip, backspin, and carry, to create more speed and accuracy. Timing the release. So exact moment that the ball leaves your hand is definitely crucial. Releasing too early or too late, you're going to transfer, you're going to sacrifice energy. But more importantly, like you're going to lose control of the baseball. So this is just to further drive the point home that the timing of your sequence is extremely important, down to you releasing it. Everything is important. How to train this. Drills like the figure eight drill can increase awareness of a proper release and wrist snapping. You guys know what the figure eight drill is? Or like the
Oh, yeah.
lasso drill, for example?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. So it's just learning where your body or your arm is. So like lasso drill is great because that allows you to like actively unwind this arm from your head. Right. It allows you to time it up with the way your body's moving. So figure eight drill, lasso drill are great throwing drills that you guys can work into your catch play. Another practical example, consider your body as a whip. Your arm and your fingertips are the tip of the whip. If you try to rush the snapping of a whip, you won't hear that loud crack. If you try and crack a whip and allow the energy to properly transfer through the whip, that's how you maximize that crack, right? Okay. Now here's the bread and butter. Like I said before, if we want to throw harder, we need to get stronger. We need to practice moving fast. So the first thing, and like I said before, this is all coming soon. And I'm excited to kind of release this for you guys, but probably the most important component to creating velocity is just training power, right? So legs, core, shoulders, back, and even your chest are essential for creating power output and controlling that power. What I said is most of you guys just need to get bigger in order to produce more force, especially high school guys. You guys need to get bigger. You need to practice moving faster. Types of strength, power, moving weight, AFAFP. What does AFAFP mean?
No idea.
As
Fast as fucking possible.
As fast as fucking possible, right? So you need to practice moving weight fast, okay? Maintaining form and control under fatigue. So things like sled pushes or sled pulls, and flexibility and strength through range of motion, like we said, depth RDLs. Training examples, I think I go into this. dynamic squat training. So actually training, firing out of the chute very fast, deadlifts, lunges, plyometric push-ups, Olympic lifts, and the regular barbell. Like all you need is a squat rack and a barbell. Those are going to be your best friends. They promote strength and stability. Really important for you guys, especially in high school if you're training like an athlete. Like if you guys go to a regular gym, not saying you guys do this, but stay away from the fucking machines that like all the other high school kids are on. Those do you no good. They don't promote stability. They're very limited range of motion. And they don't really engage your core. So stay away from that shit. Something I forgot to put here. When you guys are training strength, you guys, if you guys don't do this yet, you should incorporate tempo into your training. So like, for example, let's imagine a regular squat. A good way to train tempo would be 3 seconds down. So controlling the weight down, pausing at the bottom for 2 seconds, and then exploding up. That's how we lift with tempo. Okay, so we control it, we hold it, we explode. Speed and agility to increase velocity. Why speed and agility matters? This is pretty simple, but the ability to increase your speed and agility determines how fast your body can move. So like I said before, if we want to throw harder, if we want to move faster, we need to practice moving as fast as fucking possible. I'll let you guys take a stab at this one. Have you guys heard the term fast twitch muscle? And if so, what is it?
I've heard of it.
And like those little things in your muscle that are like, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. You're on the right track. So in our muscles, there are fibers, right? There's slow twitch muscle, and there's fast twitch muscle, right? The only way to increase our fast twitch ability is to train fast, sprints, moving the bar fast. So like I said, slow twitch muscle fibers and fast twitch muscle fibers. Fast twitch muscle fibers allow for explosive movements necessary to create velocity. If you want to move fast, you need to practice moving fast. How to train speed and agility. Incorporating explosive movements into your strength training, controlled tempo down, explode up. Sprint training is huge for developing athlete. How often do you guys like actually sprint?
We do it almost every day for school.
Do you?
And then I do sprint and agility stuff before every lift.
Good. Okay, good. Just while we're on the topic, do you guys mainly lift with your schools, or like what does your guys' lifting programs look like?
I have to lift with my school 3 times a week, but in between that, I just work out at home.
Okay. What about you, Ian?
I go to a gym and they give me a program that's like sports specific. So I go off of that, and a lot of it's the things that we're talking about.
Who gives it to you?
The coach, it's called NST.
Okay. So it's like it's your guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, let's keep moving forward.
Yeah, the program almost stupid.
It's dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb. Our head coach was a football player, so all we do is like bodybuilding crap.
So
Bad.
I guess I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but I have a lifting program, like an off-season lifting program, pretty much developed. I just need to like film this shit. Would you guys use it, or are you guys like kind of locked in with your schools and programs and all that?
So I would have to probably ask my coach if I can do something separate. He'd probably let me,
Okay.
but I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm making it regardless, so if you want to use it, you can.
I have the resources, so it sounds like a plan.
Well, I mean, so here's the thing, like if you're training with your team, like I don't want you to like overexert yourself. So if you like your team's program and all that, like just stick with that. If you want to poke through mine, you can, but like the last thing I want you to do is overtrain, you know? Okay. Just to kind of wrap this up here. Mental focus and consistency and technique is very important. Mind body connection. So Simply put, just understanding how your body moves in space, trying to eliminate wasted movement will help you minimize energy leaks throughout the kinetic chain, right? So you guys see a guy that throws with shitty mechanics, right? He's got a lot of leakage of energy. So he's not transferring that energy efficiently up the chain. So just being very mindful of how your body moves is very important for you guys to kind of continue to develop and throw harder. This obviously requires a high degree of concentration and focus, even when performing simple reps. Consistency is key. So every time you throw a baseball, you should be considering your connection with the ground, how you're transferring energy. Throwing harder isn't just about occasional practice. You must commit to it every single throw. I'll tell you guys personally, as a coach, nothing is worse than a guy who doesn't take his catch play seriously. I worked with a 12U team last year, and man, these kids would come out and just like chuck the ball around, like not really give a shit about their throw. And I can't stand that, to be honest with you. Like there's nothing worse than that. Okay, quick summary. In order to throw harder, we must generate more force. We must apply that force to the baseball for a longer period of time. Cool. Good shit.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As fast as fucking possible.
As fast as fucking possible, baby. Good stuff. Okay. I appreciate you guys for being here. I know it's Halloween. I want to run through a couple things because I'm going to upload the recording to the group. So if you guys want to stick around for this, you can, but I'm going to explain it either way. Today is October 31st. So tomorrow we are starting. Where did I put it? What are we starting tomorrow? Somebody fill me in.
The like writing down things
Oh,
like
yeah.
The writing challenge. Okay. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's awesome because I've kind of been doing that as well.
Okay.
I thought it was a
Let's see
good
who
idea.
voted on this. What do you say?
I said I thought it was a good idea.
Here's my thoughts, guys. I know you guys have huge goals, just like myself, right? My goals are just a little bit different. What I've come to understand is like I'm maybe 10 years older than you guys, so I've got a little bit more time in the game. What I've come to find in my own life is that if we want to make something happen, we need to get extremely clear on where we want to go, right? One of the best ways to figure out all of these things, like I know what it's like to be a high school guy, right? You got all these things swirling in your head. Am I going to get a scholarship, right? This girl that I think is hot, does she even know I'm around, right? You got all this shit, okay? So one of the best ways to kind of sort through all this, make sense of everything, is take pen to paper. Another very I guess powerful concept is simply like the power of the pen. I don't know if you guys are religious. I don't know like, you know, what your guys' like moral beliefs are, but there is an extremely great power in getting clear on what you want, right? Whether you give that to God, you give that to the universe, whatever, right? You make it extremely clear. What are your goals? What are your intentions behind your goal, right? Once you're very clear on where you want to go, the steps to get there become very not easy, but easy to manage, if that makes sense. Like if you can identify your major goal in life in baseball, right? Then you can break it down. Okay, what do I need to do this year? Okay, if I know what I have to do this year, what do I have to do this month? Okay, if I know what I have to do this month, what do I have to do this week? What do I have to do today? So the idea behind this thing is one for myself, right? I'm trying to build this group. I got big goals for this group. And I'll fill you guys in on those as we go. But the other thing is like I know you guys have big goals for your own life, and I want you guys to get very clear on where you want to go. So that's the whole idea behind this writing challenge. I kind of broke it down so that it's easy for you guys to follow. Let me pull it up. Okay. I'm going to post this in the group, but I'll run you guys through it. Okay. The Pro Point Catching November Writing Challenge. So this is pretty much going to be the prompt you guys follow. You're going to start every day's entry with the date. So tomorrow is going to be November 1st. You're going to outline your ultimate goals. So the example I provided, this is me speaking personally. I want to grow the Pro Point Catching Lab to 3,000 members. I want to provide my catchers with the greatest catching resource anywhere on the internet. I want to become extremely consistent in both my personal life and my professional life. I want to continue expanding my knowledge in an attempt to be a great leader. I want to get stronger in my faith, live a comfortable, fulfilling, and harmonious life. And eventually I want to move my parents to Arizona. Okay. So what you'll see is I outlined my ultimate goals. I outlined my goals for 2025. So in 2025, I want to get this group to 300 members, as well as a bunch of other things I want to do. And then I broke it down. Okay, in November, what do I want to do? So I broke it down here. So what you guys are going to find out as you work through this exercise, I want you to outline your ultimate goals first. And then I want you to break it down. Okay, what can I do in 2025 to make that happen? Okay, what can I do in November to make that happen? And then what can I do today that are non-negotiables to make progress on all of this shit in order, right? So today, I'm going to post my writing to the group. I'm going to pray and meditate. I'm going to read. I'm going to track my business KPIs. I'm going to ensure the success of my clients. I'm going to post on Instagram. I'm going to record week 1 of the off-season training plan. I'm going to create new ad creatives. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to eat 200 plus grams of protein, right? I cannot go to sleep until everything on this list is checked off. Okay. So this is basically what you guys are going to work through every single day. I want you guys to take my examples as inspiration, but I want you to make this into your own thing, right? So get very clear on where you want to go, and I want you guys to outline the process. Just a couple of best practices for you guys to, I guess, understand this a little deeper. I want you guys to commit to doing this first thing in the morning every single day. If you have to wake up 20 minutes earlier, do it. Every morning, I want you to rewrite your goals. So the goal of this exercise is to help you internalize and understand your goals on a deeper level. Continue to tweak and refine your goals as the month progresses, right? So every month or every day, you're going to rewrite, what are my ultimate goals? What are my 2025 goals, right? You're going to add to it. You're going to tweak. You're going to refine, right? Eventually, you're going to become very, very clear on where you want to go. Like I said before, align your 2025 goals with your ultimate goals, align your November goals with your 2025 goals, and so on, right? We're working backwards. We're back engineering our ultimate goal. Something that I think you guys should practice if you don't do this yet, but avoid going on your phone first thing when you wake up, okay? Ideally, what I want you guys to do is lay out your prompt the night before on a piece of paper. When you wake up, begin writing. Each day that follows, review your previous notes, and then write the upcoming notes. A couple ways that you can share this with the group and hold yourself accountable. Take a picture of your writing and post it in the group each day to hold yourself accountable. Try writing it on paper first. And then if you want to take it one step further, you can type it up. So have a piece of paper next to you and then type your entry in the group. That way you have to run through it twice in a day. But at minimum, create your daily writing in the Notes app on your phone, take a screenshot, put it in the group. Again, avoid social media until later in the day. Another concept I want you guys to consider, man, is like, and this is a big one. Your beliefs are going to shape your actions. Your actions are going to shape the way your life turns out, right? So the reason I want you guys to stay off your phone in the morning is we are actively trying to program our brain, trying to program our beliefs in a way that's going to serve us, in a way that's going to serve our goals. The problem with getting on your phone right in the morning is like, now you're at the mercy of the TikTok algorithm, right? Whatever TikTok wants to program you with for that day, that's how you're starting your day. That's how you're starting your thinking, right? So let's take control of how we start our day. Let's try to actively program, the thoughts that we're constructing. Okay. Important here. If you miss a day, get back on the horse tomorrow. Just because you missed a day, don't throw all of your progress away if you slip up, right? Slip ups are going to happen. For additional clarification and inspiration, take a look at my daily entries as well as the other members in the community. It takes 31 days to form a new habit. Like I said before, habits shape our actions, actions shape our reality. Do the uncomfortable work of creating new habits to become the person worthy of the goals you've set out for yourself. And then last, have fun and be creative. The reason I want you guys to do this is I want you guys to allow your mind to think in new ways, right? Create new possibilities. This is how growth starts, right? We can't work towards something until we believe it's possible. And that's the November writing challenge, boys. I'm excited. A couple other things just to wrap this up. Where did I put it? Okay. Like I said, I'm creating off-season plans that you guys can either follow or not. They're going to be pretty good based on the things we talked about. And I'm working on a new development for you guys that I'm super excited about. I can't really say too much about it just yet because it's still being worked on. But it's actually it's hopefully going to take this concept behind the writing challenge one step further, and it's going to allow you guys to like really dive deep into your life, into your values, into your morals, right? And begin to construct a plan, like a day by day plan, a very detailed plan that you can follow every single day, make adjustments to. And the goal is to take all the thinking out of what we're doing every single day. I know for myself, where I get into trouble is if I don't have a clear plan, that's when I start thinking about too much shit. I get off the rails and I start going like this, right? So the idea is outline your goals, get very clear on what it's going to take to get there, and then identify what we need to do every single day to get there, right? So we're going to be taking this writing challenge to the next level, and hopefully you guys can like design your entire years based on this. But more to come on that. So just something to look forward to. But that's all I got. Any closing remarks?
Will the presentation be on posted in the thing or no?
Which presentation?
The slideshow. I thought.
Yeah, I'm gonna post the recording of this group call.
All right.
I'm gonna post the November writing challenge tonight, and then I'll give you a link to this slideshow. Okay.
Awesome. I love it.
Hey.
Sounds good.
Good shit, boys.
Thanks, Coach.
Keep working hard. I'll see you guys.
Sir.
Just
Coach.
let me know if you need anything. Okay.
Heck yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.